What up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the good old, the motivator. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for always rocking and hanging with us. Blessings. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing. Thank you for always supporting and being here. So today we are discussing, are we too distracted? Are we too distracted? And there's some interesting stuff I started looking up to distraction and having our focus in other places that, you know, like not being present in a moment as well. It's interesting because I was going one way with this, but it's going to be a shift, a little bit of a shift um, in what we do. So, like I said, today we're talking about, are we too distracted? Are we too focused on things that don't matter as much? As well as, are we not, does our mind wander a lot and we're not present in the moment? I think, you know, we're gonna really dig into that as well. All right. So I appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us and hanging with us all week long. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Make sure you are tagging other people to be a part of this conversation. So we're gonna chat. We're gonna talk and talk about distraction. And sometimes it's not all social media. It's a lot of ourselves and the things we allow our mind to wander to as well, and not being focused enough on, you know, what's at hand and things of that nature. But I may be all over the place, so I might just stay in one space. Yeah, I might stay in one space. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right. So we appreciate you for rocking with us and hanging with us. We're gonna go ahead and kick this intro off. Pastor should be on today, but maybe not. It may be just me solo. All right. So I appreciate you guys. We're gonna go ahead and drop this, and we'll be back right after this. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. But we have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is this is covenant.
The whole premise is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this general possible, all invested in the business.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Life. All right. So welcome back, everybody. So like I said, today we're going to talk about, are we too distracted? The main thing is, right? And welcome my podcast people, because usually after the intro is when I start for the podcast people. So all of my live people are like, why didn't you say good morning to them in the beginning? I have purpose with this thing. So good morning, my podcast people as well. So make sure you share, review, like, and all that great stuff. And I appreciate you guys for rocking and hanging with us. Like I said, today we're talking about, are we too distracted, right? Are we too distracted? There's so much noise around us. And sometimes I feel like we spend a lot of time in the noise, if that makes sense. Like case in point, right? The situation at the Oscars. No one really talks about the Oscars like that. I know in most of my circles, no one really talks about the Oscars like that, other than what's happened when no one of color got nominated, not won an award. I don't know. I don't care. Like, I mean, I know you're like, sometimes like, why don't their representation, we're getting slighted. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about things like that personally. What's up, Kathy? It's Tuesday. Yes, indeed. He said, right. That's a distraction. But yeah, like, the whole Oscar situation, like I said, no one will really be talking about it. Like a lot of times, for the most part, like if you ever see who wins Oscars, sometimes you're like, oh, I've never seen that movie. I've never seen that movie. Like, because I've probably watched like maybe 2 or 3 movies based on the Oscars. And what I mean by that is I seen it, they won an Oscar. I'm like, really? Let me go, might have somebody that I've known in it, like a star, actor. Like I know them, like not know them, but know of their work or whatever. I'm like, I'll go check it out. And I'm like, oh, it was all right. What's up, Okini? Good morning, sir. But for the most part, we don't talk about the Oscars. We don't talk about that stuff. And it's right. So he said very true in that assessment. Yeah, it's we don't talk about the Oscars. No one, and it's funny. What's up, Richard? Good morning. It's funny, like we don't, like I don't really care. And like I said, so the incident happened, so that now dominates all of the feeds, dominates all the social media, And granted, my people at the internet, they live for this moment to clown somebody. It's like I can't get through the week unless something happens that I can clown. When 50 Cent did the Super Bowl, it's always somebody's going to be the target of the week, and I get it. That's their job. Like, I'm sure there are folks that are just dedicated to finding the foolery that happens out here so they can clown it on the internet. So I'm with it. Then listen, everybody got their positions. But I think it just like, hey, what about the war over there with Russia and Ukraine? And then, hey, what's happening over here? What's up with the gas prices? What's up with this? Like what's going on with our policies? What's happening with that? The things that we push for, the things that folks have been marching for about with George Floyd and some of the laws and the police reform. What about that? We're not talking about that no more. Like our attention gets so short that I think we lose focus and people lose the fire, to fight. Like, oh, squirrel. Like we're not talking about it anymore. It's not a discussion. It's always about the latest thing, and it's fine, I guess, like to, like back in the days, right? There was the Inquirer, which gave you the really outlandish but maybe true stuff. You had the magazines that gave in-depth things about people's lives, but it didn't come out a lot. So the things got to be real deep. Any situations happen, like people will probably talk about the smack, but they'll get deep into the story, and then you got the newspaper that would come out every day and talk about what's going on around locally and some national stuff. Granted, I'm sure I haven't seen the newspaper in a minute, but I'm sure on the front page, at least yesterday, was about what happened at the Oscars, because that's attention grabbing. You'll pick the paper up for that. So I get it. But I think, we are so focused on the noise, like in essence, who cares that Will Smith smacked Chris Rock? Who really cares? Like I get for some, it's an issue of the way we're perceived, as African Americans. Like you have 2 millionaires, and basically like, huge in our community as far as artistry and finance, just big, it's not a good look. You hate to see that because, we already have like such a, not the best reputation, it's like, that's to me almost the equivalent of Bill Gates receiving an award, and Warren Buffett going up there and smacking him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is worthy of clowning because, you just never see that. But it's I don't know. It's just we get so distracted in the noise, and we'll talk about this. This will be, about the whole Will Smith thing is gonna go on for a while, and I'm sure we gotta wait for this person to say this, and someone's gonna come out and say this, is that, this, that, and somebody may be like, well, backstage they were kind of beefing a little bit, like, it's always something. It's gonna be something for a while, but it's distracting from anything that is pertinent. Like I think it just takes away because it happened, and it gets a little focused, but sometimes it just stays too much in the light, and we miss out on the small nuances that's happening around us that we should be putting our attention. Like election is coming up. Who are you voting for? Who's in your local election? What are they doing? Have you been able to research the people that are around you? We have so much happening that we get distracted. Like I said, this whole Will Smith thing it takes away from our main focus, and so the distraction is not necessarily just cutting off social media and things of that nature, but it's like where are you placing your time. Let's see, sliggity splow. Sorry, we inside passages. Let me bring Pastor to the stage. Let's go. Okay.
Good morning, folks. Sorry I'm late. I got distracted.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Like you ever have, and even boiling down to when you come. Like I sit at my desk, I have a focus, and something pops up on my phone. I click on it, and it's like a news story, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Then I'm like, word? Really? Like, oh man, what time? What am I supposed to be doing?
An hour later.
Right, 1 hour later. You're right, and it takes our attention away from things. Let's see. But likely to see my local candidates next month. Okay, I got council election. Okay, it may be likely to see my local candidates. And listen, that's the thing though. Like, election is coming up. Like, it's really like covered in the sense of the smaller candidates. Like we got to really dig to find out who's running for what, unless they scandalous. Unless like Atlanta, Kasim. I'm about to say Kaneem. Kasim, the big people, the folks that have just always been in the news. Everybody knew about the Atlanta election, probably even outside of Georgia. Everybody knew what was going on. And I bet you even people had opinions. They ain't never lived in Atlanta. Like, don't put Kasim back. Like, you don't even know the man. Like, you have no idea, the nuances. He might have done some big scandalous stuff, but you don't know what else he's done, And case in point, just for a note, I'm not promoting Kasim. I'm just telling, we always make an opinion based on just what we see. And granted, that if that's all I got, that's all I can go by. But you don't live there. So it's like, why would you, it's like, why would you put the energy in even commenting or making posts, and like, you're not even there, unless you're part of the political machine and, that stuff. But outside of that, it's like, it's not your, Katrina, we should say, it's not your monkey, not your circus.
I never heard that one.
Yeah. It's like when there's something going on, it's like, don't get it. That's not your monkey. That's not your circus.
Right.
So, let's see. Oh man. Hey, good morning, Cheryl. But yeah, it's I think we just get inundated with a lot of noise. And it just I think we lose out on our focus. Like I was talking about, like even the George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, some of those things, that the changes in legislation, like sometimes when it's not in our face, we don't ask like, hey, what happened to that legislation that you guys are pushing? What happened to this, the police reform that you guys have been talking about? What happened to this? What happened to that? And we lose focus. We stop asking questions because we get so caught up in the day-to-day drama. Other than if I'm in an organization or part of a campaign, of course it's my everyday to be part of that. But if I'm outside of that, then I don't know what's going on. And like I said, the next thing on the news feed gets my attention. Like granted, I know the whole Will Smith thing made you react. Kind of, it summoned an opinion. Like things happen. You look at it like, ooh, that's wrong. Ooh, they should have did that. But I think we stay too long in it. And like now, like I didn't even get on social media. I was like, that's all that's dominating my social media right now. Just the smack. Like, how you feel? This is what I think. This is what I think. Like it's fake. And then someone whipped out some text message from somebody that said, I was like, who text messages? It's like a whole text message about security. Something's about to go down. Telling Chris Rock something. I was like, who text messages that? Like, I don't know. I was thinking it was fake, but either way, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm gonna stop. But yeah, it's like, so my whole news feed is dominated with that. Like I turn on the news today, like, okay, boom, it's Tuesday. Like me and the kids like work out, and I'm like, let me look at the news, just kind of glaze the news, just to kind of see what's going on. Of course, still the same thing. I was like, come on, we ain't done with this yet.
Well, here's my take on that.
Yeah,
because to me, like that's not a distraction. That is a current event.
I got you.
What makes it a distraction is if the disruption keeps you from being productive.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily a distraction, but it could be your distraction if it stops you because it's not that news or that event is not your priority. You have
Right.
no participation in the resolution between Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Right.
Right. So to me, it's a current event.
I got you.
What makes it a distraction is if you start reading about it when you're supposed to be doing something else and you hear that 2 hours later.
Right.
Right.
He said, well, dang, sheesh, preach. Tim said distractions can be good at times and may give you a chance to look away, then come back and see something you didn't see before. Indeed.
Yeah, like at the bowling alley when I have a 6-10 split and I have to walk away for a minute and then come back. Get a drink of water. I need a distraction so I don't throw the bowling ball in the wrong lane.
Oh man. Let's see. He said, I'm
Right.
right. He said, I'm not feeding into it. Doesn't benefit
Right.
me one way or another. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff is not a distraction. You make it a distraction.
Okay. Let's say it that way then. You're right. It does. It can be. Because, I don't know. Like, when it comes to, like, finding out what else is going on, like, when's these gas prices. Well, I mean, even though the gas prices come down some, I think because of the tax, well, I guess in Georgia with the tax, I don't know if it passed, but the tax, the moratorium on tax, they
holding?
they're holding the tax on the gas right now. I mean, it's coming down some. So if that's it, I think that's what's helping, but hopefully it's just coming down. I got a question though. Random Richard Fay level question. Why is gas still so high, right? Or still going up, even though electric cars have built so much more momentum?
Because the price or the cost of electric cars is not in a place where it becomes the primary mode of transportation for the bulk of the country.
I get it.
Not
get
enough
it.
people can afford them. So
I mean, but there are more electric cars, people driving electric cars that I've seen in Teslas that don't say test drive. They're their cars. I've seen some at apartments
yeah,
too.
but what percentage of the population?
But I get it.
Hey,
But
mom.
shouldn't that still affect at least because isn't gas? Going to rabbit hole. Isn't gas? Uh, gas prices are like futures, right? So it's like a forward thinking kind of like what's happening, what's coming affects the gas price, if I'm not mistaken. So like the drive up of electric cars, it seems like there are more companies making electric cars. There are more people buying electric cars than before. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as much
Yeah,
as,
but it's still
as
not
an
enough to
anomaly.
where it can impact the price of gas.
Right.
Remember that if and here's the other piece that if the more people drive electric cars, that's not going to decrease the amount of gas. It's going to increase it because if you sell less, it's going to cost you more. If
No.
if I pay $10 a barrel for gas,
Right. Right.
for oil, whatever,
Right.
and that's based on, you know, 100 million barrels a year,
Right.
my profit is X.
Right.
But if all of a sudden, yeah, supply and demand is the short version of what my preaching dialogue is. Well, thank you, Cheryl.
But
Right.
right.
But
But demand is down.
Yeah,
Supply
so if
is
demand
high.
is down,
Supply
think
will be
about this.
high.
No, there's a cost of doing business. So if it
Yeah.
costs me $100 million to bring in, 10,000 gallons or barrels of oil a year,
Right.
right? But
Right.
then I only sell 5,000, the
Right.
cost of bringing it in didn't change. So now my price per gallon is going to increase because I still got to cover the cost of bringing it in.
Gotcha.
Does it make sense?
It does, but that's
Like your
don't-
family
But-
eats 3 meals a day.
right.
And those 3 meals a day on average cost you $50. It costs you $50 a day to feed your family. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But today, AJ and Alexa decided they didn't want to eat 2 of those meals.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It still costs you $50 a day to feed your family. Right? They just didn't eat today.
Yeah,
So what happens to the food that you prepared today goes to waste? Watch me.
Go in the refrigerator. They eat it later.
So tomorrow you decide, I'm not going to spend $50. I'm going to
Right.
spend $30 because they've been missing 2 meals a day.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
But a loaf of bread still costs $1.25.
I
On
get it.
today, it costs $3.50.
I got it.
Right?
Depending on where you go.
Am I right? But you don't control the price of the loaf of bread.
I got it.
I'm the grocery store. I got to make sure that loaf of bread is on the shelf whether you buy it or not.
I got it.
Right? And
I
it
got
costs me $10,000 to keep bread on the shelf every week.
I got it.
Right?
I'm with you.
Just because you don't buy that loaf because you only spent $35 today because your children ain't been eating the bread,
Right.
I still got to have it on the shelf.
Right. We're still
The price of me bringing it to the shelf does not change. So
Okay,
if you
yeah.
buy less of it,
right.
then the fewer, if I sell fewer loaves, in order for me to make up my money on the back end, I'm going to have to increase the price of each loaf
Right.
because the cost of bringing it in didn't change.
I got you. I understand that part of it. But what about, okay, so remember when gas spiked up, right? Gas spiked up when there was a lack thereof. Remember when it was low, they were running out. So it's in the supply demand chain, supply was low, demand was high.
Yeah.
To control the amount of gas that people were siphoning, because at
But
$1,
in order for me to
$2,
keep my business afloat, I got to make $100,000 a week.
you got to raise the price.
I got to
But-
raise the price because now I got less gas. I didn't get a chance to get my my fill up, my refill. Can I get a refill?
But if this, like when gas dropped, because it's dropped when oil is being produced, and more oil is being produced, and the demand for gas drops. Wouldn't that drop the price? You know, that doesn't that still drop the price?
No.
I mean,
the
I
only
got
way
what you
that the price drops is if you have an over like for the person who's drilling.
Right.
If I have an abundance of oil that I have drilled
Uh-huh.
and I can distribute it to more people,
Right. Right now, Russia's
I can
price,
drop
Russia's
the
gas
price.
is cheap.
Right, I can drop the price, sell it to more people, and still make my money.
Right. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like the
But
gas price should drop.
that's from an overproduction when I've got more production.
I got you.
Okay.
So you feel like the production will slow down?
If production slows down, I have like if production in the Middle East or in Europe or whatever the case slows down,
Right.
if they drill and pull up less oil from the ground,
Right.
then they're going to increase the price. And if they increase the price, I'm going to increase my price because it still costs me the same amount to get it over here.
All right.
If I have less gas, let's say you selling T-shirts, and in order for you to make your money, you need to make, $1,000 profit a day to stay in business. But for whatever reason, your T-shirt printing machine broke, and you have to sell, 2,500 T-shirts to make your $1,000 profit.
Right.
But today, you was only able to produce 1,000 T-shirts.
I got you.
But you still need to make that $1,000 profit to stay in business.
I got you.
You can't sell the T-shirts for the same price.
I got you.
When you got fewer T-shirts, you're gonna have to increase the price of the T-shirts to make that $1,000 profit so that you can stay in business.
Right.
Prices went up because I have less inventory, and I don't know when I'm gonna get more, but I gotta stay afloat.
I got you. Still think the gas should come down, but so are we too distracted after we went down that rabbit hole? So what do you guys think? Do you think we are too distracted? And I get, like, as far as the distraction for the moment, I get taking your mind off of things now and focusing on other things, later. Like, you need to kind of take a break from the world and its craziness and look at something that is more local or just doesn't really affect your life like that, to kind of move forward. He said they distracted. Yeah, a little bit. But do you feel like we stay in the weeds too long? Like, do we not have more of the thoughtful conversations? Or are we so caught up in drama that we don't focus on, like I said, like the local elections and the local stuff, the stuff that's not as exciting, but very impactful in our everyday lives. How do we not stay so distracted in the drama that we miss out on the basic stuff that's happening around us? If that makes sense.
Is it a priority?
Yeah.
Like, to me, a distraction is any non-productive activity
Right.
that is keeping me from being productive,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
A disruption to my production that garners no benefit to me is a distraction,
Right. He said,
right?
Yeah. Sam says, I think life gets heavy sometimes, even monotonous, so we look for things to break it up. Indeed.
Break up the monotony. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I my thing is, I don't look at that as a distraction. I look at that as a healthy balance.
Right. Right. Indeed.
I have to make myself, I have to disrupt my day at my desk and get up and go take a walk, or else
Right.
I'll sit at my desk all day working,
Right.
Yeah. And so I have to get up. I have to have a disruption to break up that monotony that Samantha's alluding to.
Right.
But I think that a distraction, and she did say that there are some healthy distractions, but to me, your question is, are we too distracted?
Right.
So when you talk about missing out on things like the election and all that kind of stuff, to me, it's not the distractions. My question is, is that a priority for you?
Right.
Because I'm not distracted if I have no interest in that.
Right. I got you. I
Right?
got you. Yeah.
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
to now I'm measuring my priorities.
Right. That makes sense.
A lot of people go out and cast their vote and they don't even know what they're voting for. Know nothing. Like you say,
Right.
know nothing about the candidate. They just voting for, whoever they heard they should be voting for.
Right. And I think, that's why most folks stay in office for such a long time, because that's the name I know. That's the name I know.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy made a movie about it called
Oh,
The
yeah.
Distinguished Gentleman.
Yeah. Great movie. Great movie. Great movie. Yes, Deborah says, yes, we just have to learn to be more disciplined. I set my computer to where I don't see the news feed. and listen, I'm not anti-news, because, you got to kind of know what's happening around, what's happening in the world, and know what's going on, even the nuances and small spaces, because, even something like this incident at the Oscars can have a level of a ripple effect, and you just find out other things later, with their not only private lives but their companies and things of that nature. But yeah, it's important to at least know what's going on around you. It's important to know what's happening. Everything doesn't have to be huge, but it's good to kind of be in somewhat of the know. He said, okay. Some people say church, stay out of politics. Others say church should be more involved. I believe they're involved than out of it. Not in the nuances of maybe choosing, but at least the being active in it, as far as what's going on locally. I believe that's definitely a push that should be, churches should definitely do that. The pastor's been part of that initiative with the jurisdiction in our Church of God in Christ. Cheryl says, I think we are too distracted overall, as everything is just available at our fingertips. Indeed, those things of interest and otherwise. Right.
Can you say TikTok?
Right. TikTok is the worst. They are like geniuses. I can't even, you thought Facebook or Instagram hold TikTok, the way they just got it is just boom, boom. And then, they know your interest because they see you watch it long. They're like, oh, you like that? Okay, let me give you more of that. And then I thought YouTube was bad. Because TikTok is so small, it's just like, oh, let me see about that. Or the conspiracies. You mean, what? I didn't know that. What? Nah. Okay, a little bit, that's true. What did he call it? Scrolling osis. Yeah, it'll suck you in. That's the biggest thing though. That'll keep you. Hours will pass. It's like, ooh, what time is it? I'm supposed to be doing such and such, And I think that's where the discipline, where she was saying, who said about the discipline, having discipline? Yeah, we just have to learn to be more disciplined. We have to be disciplined. She said, yeah, TikTok is the devil's playground. Swipe up, left, or down.
Those algorithms, man.
Yeah.
We get you.
It's funny. I met a guy who does, what did he call it? What is geez, I meant to write the title down, but basically he works on algorithms. That's like his thing. Like he's a young guy. He's going into a whole field, and that's his. I was like, oh, that's the name. I wish I could remember the title. It'll come to me later, because it was like something engineering, but it was interesting. He said that's what we do. We write the codes to figure out everybody else. I'm like, wow. But yeah, so I think, and that's a big one, like the TikToks and kind of just being in it too long, too distracted. There's
What's that other thing? It's part of. Is it TikTok or is it who has Reels?
Instagram. No, yes.
Instagram does
I think so.
Reels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the short stuff. Yeah,
That's
Short
like
attention.
the stories on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
It's a
yeah. It's
lot,
more stuff. Go ahead.
and it can keep you from being productive. That's for sure.
Yes.
But what?
Yeah.
So, but there's also what ranks more: social media disruptions or distractions, or familial life distractions, emotional, mental distractions. You know, a breakup,
Right.
a new relationship.
Right. I think those
You
are
head over
bigger.
heels for somebody, so
Those are
you
bigger.
spend so much time with them that you stop being productive because you're
Those
so
are
in love.
right. Right.
You know,
Right. I think it's provides a I think those are like the bigger, longer distractions. Like the social media, you can kind of, they're short, but when it's the emotional and mental, or even having a bad day, or like having an issue, it's just you can't get it out of your head. You can't shake it. It
yeah,
just
take you 3 hours to get over the fact that somebody cut you off at a red light.
oh, right, 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 and you keep playing it in your head. It's like you can't get out of it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's that's a big one. That's
yeah.
that's
You
that's
spend
big.
you spend an hour thinking about what you should have said,
Right,
what you should have
right.
done.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
but that a distraction, it can sometimes be an unresolved emotional issue that you cannot let go of. You've been holding on to it. You know, people don't realize, a lot of people don't realize, some do, but a lot don't, that harboring unforgiveness is a dangerous distraction when you struggle to get over or get past something that someone has done against you, a
Right,
transgression against you.
right,
That can
right.
mess you up.
That can that can throw everything off.
Yeah.
It can definitely make
Just
things
ask just ask Will
challenging.
Smith.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
believe I believe that slap
Right,
was a global slap.
right,
That, like, Chris Rock took a slap for all the people that Will Smith couldn't slap.
right,
He
right,
packaged up all his frustration
right.
into that one smack into
Wow.
Chris Rock, because that stuff he has carried that stuff for so
Yeah,
long. And that's how much of a distraction, because it distracted from the Oscars,
right. Yeah, it
because it
did.
had distracted him for so long. It was unresolved. And
Right,
how often are we carrying around these silent distractions that cause us to lash out in a way, cause us to do something, and that no one was prepared for, because no one realized, man, you've been living with this for how long?
right,
You know,
right.
Columbine,
Yeah, yeah.
unresolved,
Unresolved.
silent distraction.
Right,
And then you hit a trigger and you snap.
right.
A lot of
Right.
people are angry. We were talking about this. We preached about it on Sunday, right?
Yeah,
This hidden anger,
yeah.
because you got all these people have this unresolved stuff,
Right.
and it's distracting you, disrupting your healing process because you haven't dealt
Definitely.
with it.
Right.
It's
Major
dangerous.
role. Um, let's see. Cheryl says, totally. That's so sad. I think the role brought it to the surface somehow. Yeah.
What did he say? It's art imitating life.
Right.
I became Richard Williams, a fierce protector of my family. I just
Right.
needed an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's bad. How it had to happen. That it happened that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we don't. And we're talking about distractions, and we're talking about unresolved issues or situations that we're not dealing with, and things of that nature. It definitely, um, can be in your whole life. Like unforgiveness, can be a huge distraction. especially if the person that you can't forgive is like around or in your circle. Like you just can't even function, can't produce, can't get things done because you are stuck in the space.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's a big one. That's a big one. And so like I said, we're talking. Are we too distracted? You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. I appreciate you guys for rocking and hanging with us. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. And if you feel like you keep coming in late on our broadcast, text join our text community. Text LW into 84576. Text LW into 84576. Never miss a broadcast. Never miss what's going down with the Legacy Walking Network. And we're talking about too distracted. So let me ask you this. So with that, right? How do we get into a space where is it about dealing with the issue so that's not distracting? You know, we know forgiveness. We get into, if you're unforgiving, you need to forgive. If it's something that you see somebody,
Yeah, I mean, Matthew chapter 5 tells us, right, what causes a disruption. You can't even bring a gift to the altar unless you've been reconciled with your brother. The Bible says if you have an ought against your brother, right, leave your gift at the altar and go be reconciled with your brother, right? It also talks about if your brother has sinned against you, it's important to have that reconciled, because carrying that makes you poisonous.
Right.
It's a constant disruption to your productivity. That means that everything you do is tainted, because it's poisoned by this ought, this unresolved conflict that you have. And what's going to happen is you're going to explode on a person that's not even engaged in that conflict.
Right.
You know, you ever been mad at somebody because they look like somebody that hurt you?
Right.
They did something that reminded you of something that somebody else did.
Right. And they didn't.
I mean, that's what happened with Chris Rock.
Right.
Wrong joke, wrong time, and it triggered something that Chris Rock had nothing to do with. That association, and so that's why, like, we talk about progressing forward, moving forward. You've got to resolve those issues, those unresolved issues, or it poisons you in other areas of your life.
Right.
And you can still be productive because, like I said, you can keep making money, you can keep making movies, you can keep making music, you can keep turning out t-shirts, you can keep doing all that stuff. You can do all that, but just because you're still able to produce a product doesn't mean you are being productive.
Right. True.
Your world is tainted. It's poisoned with that unresolved issue. And so we have to deal with that stuff, man. We've got, like, in our families, in our relationships, on the job, you got people who've been working at the same job 10 years, been mad at the same person for 10 years.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
You got generational anger.
Right.
You know, my grandmama treated your grandmama wrong, so our family's been at it for 40 years.
Right.
And we don't even know what the argument was about. I just know we're not supposed to like the Johnsons. If your last name is Johnson, I love you.
Right. Definitely. Oh,
we ain't never like them.
Right. We ain't never like. Don't even know why. Why? Don't even know. Just cause.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to vote for a Republican.
Right.
Why?
Don't even know.
Because I'm black, I'm Democrat. Really?
Right.
I'm not supposed to vote for a Democrat. Why?
Right. Don't even know. Have no idea. Right. No idea. And it just passes on. Cheryl said, absolutely, appearances are deceptive. Indeed.
There's a preacher out there right now saying, he said, if you think that because you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, that you saved, you ain't saved. He's telling people this. Wow. He says, if somebody dunked you in a tub of water and told you that you've been baptized, he said, you ain't been baptized, you just got wet.
Wow.
Let me tell you what the Bible really said. got tens of thousands of people listening to this man.
Of course.
And what I'm saying is, who hurt you?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Who hurt you? What leader hurt you?
Right.
Because you poisoning all these people.
Right. Indeed. Yeah.
And I'm not saying whether you're right or wrong. What I'm saying is what's driving you is unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a place of growth. It's not a place of helping. It's just
you're judging people. How you gonna tell somebody they're not saved when being saved is a faith move?
Right.
If you believe on the Lord Jesus.
Right. Indeed.
It's a faith move. So how you gonna tell somebody they not saved?
Right.
Right. Study to show yourself approved unto God, not unto man. You don't have a heaven or hell to put me in.
Right.
But who are you to tell me whether I'm saved or not?
Right. Indeed. I think those
distractions.
Yeah.
Disruptions.
Yeah.
Seed of discord amongst the brethren.
Yeah. Because now we're going back and forth when we can be moving forward, and we're sitting here.
We're debating whether or not I got salvation.
Right. Instead of building the kingdom.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of working together. That's something right there.
Woo! That's something.
That is something right there. And it's, yeah.
All right. I don't want to be a distraction.
Oh, no. It's, my producer said, move it along.
Yeah.
All right, then. Right, we have false prophets and teachers. Yes, indeed. God, for sure. Oh, man. So,
like
listen,
ask
guys,
what happened in your day? What had to happen in your day for 7 o'clock to come around and you're like, I didn't get anything done?
Right.
What happened?
Distractions.
What happened in your life when your spouse says, we should have done that 3 years ago?
Right.
Your children say, you always told me, fill in the blank.
Right.
What happened? What kept you from whatever fills in that blank?
Right.
You know? By now you were supposed to have fill in the blank.
Right.
What happened?
What did you let get in your way? What did you let get on your mind? And the crazy part is like, years pass. You're like, how did these years just pass like this? How did I miss so much? There's this time. When's the last time we did? Has it been that long? Really? It's like 6 months ago. Really? Distractions, life, emotional distractions, like Pastor was saying. Those are emotional distractions that trip you up, that keep you in a bad space too long, and you miss out on so much.
What did Paul say in Galatians? The Lord said, you did run well. Galatians 5, but who hindered you?
Who hindered you?
Right. Where is that? I'm about to turn this into a Bible study.
Shout out to Pastor's background. That's his house. Look at that house he got. Look at that. It's a beautiful background.
Huh?
I'm talking about your background. That looks
like
it? Natural. Like go and grab that book right there on the on the left.
Oh, this one here?
There you go. Always. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. You're gonna bust out this scripture and we're gonna roll up out of here.
Galatians 5. and 7.
Uh-huh.
You did run well. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? What disrupted you to the point to where you couldn't obey the truth?
Right. Right. That's big right there. That's
Yeah,
big right
he
there.
said a little leaven leavens the whole lump. In other words,
Right.
take that and reverse it. A small distraction can throw everything off. It's the
Yes.
small foxes that spoil the vine.
Yes, indeed.
Those
Yes,
little
indeed.
distractions that creep up and bite you in the area that you don't want to be bit.
Right. Indeed. Thank you, Mama Corey. Appreciate you. But yeah, definitely those distractions can get you. So
Yeah. I spent too much time angry.
yeah. Yeah.
I held on to it for too long.
Too long.
I
Angry.
missed my opportunity because I was busy being angry.
Right. Right. Woo.
Yeah.
Let that seep in, everybody. Let that seep in.
Woo.
You were too angry. So
Lord.
I'm so angry. Missing out on an opportunity. Man, I should have just thing. I was angry.
He sucked me into his world so deeply that I forgot my purpose. For a season of my life, all my purpose was found in him. And when he left me, I didn't know who I was anymore.
Right.
He was a distraction.
Right.
I couldn't breathe without her. My whole life revolved around her. And when she left, I didn't know what to do with myself. She was a distraction.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And Cheryl says, challenge is knowing you're angry. You know you're angry. You know you're angry. Stop it. You know you're mad. You know you're mad. Every time you think about the person, you know you're mad. You think about the situation, you know you're mad. Stop it. You know you're angry. They know. They know. You know you're mad. I ain't mad. Yeah. You're not. You know you're mad. Oh man. Like, you know you're mad. Stop it. People, stop it. Your whole demeanor changes when you think about it, or a situation, or a person. You know you're still upset and you're harboring unforgiveness. Everything about you changes if I mention a person's name. You are harboring. That's harboring. Like they got a whole space right there. That's their name is like right there. They got a whole
And guess what? Guess what the other side looks like?
Yes.
When you can work on this stuff and get released from this stuff,
Right.
you become a blessing
Right.
to those
Right.
around you. You become a light to those around you. Now people get to see who you really are, the authentic you.
Right.
You become the best
Man, I ain't
version
never
of
seen you smile in
yourself.
so long.
Yeah.
I miss that
I mean,
smile.
like, yeah, oh my gosh, the light that's shining from you. You are, I mean, what happened? What did you?
Right.
I woke up.
Right. I woke
Now
up.
I get the best version of you.
Yeah.
You know, you become the best version of yourself when you loose yourself, rid yourself of these distractions. Now, distractions will always happen.
Right.
Disruptions will always come,
Always.
but you can't become a prisoner of it.
Right.
When you can learn to get past these things, people get the best version of you. And our objective in this life, in this walk, is to be the best version of ourselves.
Right. Yep. Best version. Know that. The challenge on and angry, it comes through right. It comes through being mad. Woo.
Woo.
So if it's familiar, you might not even realize it.
Right? I
guess.
Pigpen. Can somebody say Pigpen from Charlie Brown?
Right.
Pigpen was a walking cloud of dirt.
Right.
But guess what? The world looked dirty to him
Right.
because he couldn't see beyond his own cloud of dirt.
Right.
I mean, what is it when everybody around you look foul and the truth is no, it's your cloud.
Right. Yep.
If you fly into LAX from anywhere in the world, you get about 10 miles out and you're looking down on the city, there's a gray cloud hovering over Los Angeles. And people call it sunny California. But when you're flying in
Yeah. You go through it.
from the sky,
Right.
you see the cloud.
Wow.
Mom, tell them, anybody flew into LAX, y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a gray cloud that engulfs the city.
Wow.
But living in the city,
You don't see it. Wow. Well, there it is. Get deliverance. Deliverance service will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. All right, be here. Let's go.
Smog. Yeah, it's the smog, the LA
yeah.
smog.
That's what it was, the
Yeah.
smog, right? I've heard about that.
Yeah, but if you walk in the streets of LA looking up to the sky, it just looks so beautiful.
Wow, because you're just in it.
And you in a cloud of smog.
Wow.
Seriously. And a lot of us are walking around life like that.
Right.
Comfortable
Wow.
in our mess.
Wow.
Woo!
All right. All right, then. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Hey, all that and some. Continue to be blessed. Know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe. And we will see you in DAM. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being. Make sure to share. Sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see